Hey friends, let's take a magical journey today far back in time. Before Halloween, as we know it today, there was a festival called Samhain. This wasn't your regular costume party. This was an ancient Celtic festival that celebrated the dead, the harvest, and of course, the eerie dance between our world and the spirit world. So buckle up, because we're diving deep into the real story behind Samhain, its origins, and the crazy rituals that'll make your Halloween party look like child's play. Let's begin. Imagine this, it's 2,000 years ago. You're in ancient Ireland surrounded by Celtic warriors, druids, and villagers. It's the end of October, and the days are getting shorter. The nights are stretching like a lazy cat. For these folks, the year was divided into two halves, the summer and the winter. The 31st of October marked Samhain, the day when the boundary between the living and the dead world became thinnest. During this time, people believed the spirits of the dead could come back to visit their loved ones, even sometimes to haunt their enemies too. You'd better believe this was no joke. But how did they deal with it? With a giant party, of course. The Celts gathered around massive bonfires, held rituals, and performed sacrifices to appease the spirits. No Netflix, no Wi-Fi, but plenty of excitement. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty. Ancient Samhain wasn't just about sitting around telling ghost stories. It had some seriously wild rituals. Here are the top 10 crazy things they did. First is the bonfires. This wasn't your regular campfire. It was a mega fire lit on hilltops. People believed these fires could ward off evil spirits, and sometimes they'd toss in animals as sacrifices, but for spiritual reasons. Second is the costumes. Forget superheroes and witches. The Celts dressed up in animal skins and scary masks to trick the wandering spirits into thinking they were one of them. Picture people wearing funny wolf and bear costumes. Think of it as the OG version of trick-or-treating, without the candy. Third is the divination and fortune-telling. The Celtic priests, or druids, were like the ancient version of astrologers and tarot card readers. They'd predict the future using bones, stones, and even the way crops grew. Now imagine getting your fortune read by someone chucking bones onto the ground. What a style! Fourth is the feasting with the dead. That's right, they had dinner parties where they'd leave food out for their deceased loved ones. Because, you know, who doesn't like a good ghost joining in for the roast lamb? On number 5th is the dumb supper. And speaking of feasts, people would host silent dinners where no one spoke to honor the dead. Yes, the silent dinner. On number 6 is the animal sacrifices. Sorry, animal lovers. But back then, livestock wasn't just for milk and meat. They would offer up sheep, cows, and pigs to the gods in hopes of a good winter. Then on number 7 is the wild hunt. Ever heard of a ghostly hunting party led by a supernatural being? The Celts believed in it. If you heard a mysterious horse galloping by at night, well, good luck then. Coming on number 8 is the Fae offerings. The Celts were very cautious about the fairies. They'd leave offerings for them, because who wants to mess with a bunch of sassy supernatural beings? Next on number 8 is the doorstep offerings, the ancient version of trick-or-treating. People would leave food outside their doors to keep the ghosts and spirits happy. This is where we get the idea of giving out sweets to kids. And on number 10, we have the spirit walks. Some people would even walk the perimeter of their homes and villages with their dead ancestors. I mean, who needs a pet dog when you've got a ghost grandma giving you company? Then question comes here is, how Samhain evolved into Halloween? Okay, flashback a few hundred years. Enter the Roman Empire, Christianity, and bam, Samhain gets a little makeover. The Catholic Church wasn't exactly a fan of pagan festivals, so they rebranded Samhain as All Saints' Day on November 1st, also known as All Hallows. And guess what October 31st became? You got it. All Hallows' Eve, or we call today, is Halloween. Halloween morphed into a night of trick-or-treating, spooky decorations, and haunted houses. But the roots of it are pure Samhain. Even the concept of costumes, scary spirits, bonfires, all comes from those ancient Celts. But how Samhain is celebrated today around the world? Now, you might be thinking, okay, Samhain is cool, but no one does that now, right? Wrong. Today Samhain is still celebrated, especially by modern-day pagans and Wiccans. It's like their new year. Here's how Samhain traditions have survived and thrived in today's world. With many stories and rituals, the Wiccans and pagans around the world, people light bonfires, make altars, and hold ceremonies to honor the dead. It's a beautiful, solemn time to reflect on life, death, and the cycle of nature. In Ireland and Scotland, where Samhain started, people still celebrate with bonfires and traditional festivals. Some towns even hold events where you can experience ancient customs. In Mexico, Samhain vibes meet the Dia de los Muertos, or also we call Day of the Dead, celebrations. It's all about honoring the deceased with colorful altars, food offerings, and parades. And in the US, many neo-pagans host Samhain circles and feasts, lighting candles for their ancestors, and sometimes even throwing in a little fortune-telling for good measure. So wrapping it all up, there you have it. Samhain, the ancient festival that started it all. From honoring the dead, to lighting bonfires, to dressing up as creepy spirits, this holiday evolved into the Halloween we know and love today. But remember, Halloween isn't just about candy and jump scares. It's got ancient roots that are steeped in tradition, magic, and a healthy respect for the other side. Until next time, stay spooky, my friends, and don't forget to leave a snack for any wandering spirits this Halloween. You never know who or what might be watching.